Hello everyone, and welcome to our first webinar Wednesday of 2013. I'm here downtown with Dr. Kelsey-Seybold, and today we're going to be talking about weight loss, small changes, big results. A little bit about Dr. Seybold. She, of course, practices at our downtown clinic at the Shops. She's board certified by the American Board of Family Medicine. She got her medical degree from Government Medical College and did her residency at Baylor. Her clinical interests include hypertension and women's health, and when not caring for patients, she enjoys spending time with her children and traveling. Please know that you can enter your questions in at any time. We will be taking questions at the end of the webinar, so go ahead and type those in while you're thinking about them, and we'll try to answer them at the very end. And here's Dr. Seybold.
Welcome everyone to this very interesting presentation. I'm going to talk a little bit about obesity first, just to let you know, if you're looking at this map, if you can look at Texas, 25% to 29% of population is considered obese with a BMI of more than 30. And if you look at some of the other states, some of the other states have more than 30% people with morbid obesity, and the numbers do not look good for a lot of states in US. Now, just to define what is being overweight and what is being obese, we do this by a measurement which is called body mass index, where we take into account your height and your weight, and we use a formula to get this number. Anybody who has a BMI of less than 25 is considered to be within a normal weight for that height. However, once your BMI is over 25 and up to 29.9, you are considered overweight. Anybody with BMI over 30 is considered obese, and you are considered morbidly obese when your BMI hits more than 40. These are usually the people who have a lot of other conditions along with their weight, and this becomes a serious medical problem. The weight problem in US is really an epidemic, I would say. It's a chronic disease, and it involves a lot of factors like social and cultural, genetic, physiological, metabolic, behavioral, and even psychological components. This is the second leading cause of preventable death in the US. The numbers look dismal. 127 million adults in the US are considered overweight. Out of these, 60 million are obese. What's really sad is 1 out of 3 kids are now considered being either overweight or obese. Now, just to let you know, how can you find out what your BMI is? There's a little chart. It's available on the internet also. So this is a number which is calculated from your weight and your height. And if you can look at your chart, the orange columns are basically your healthy weight. So it shows your height in your feet and inches, and then your weight in pounds. And all of you should look at where you stand. Anytime you are hitting green and then yellow, you are overweight or obese. BMI is a reliable indicator of body fatness for most people. And this is what we commonly use in our clinics to screen for obesity. However, in certain populations like professional athletes, this is not a very accurate measure due to your high muscle mass and bone mass. But for all practical purposes, this is a very good indicator whether you are considered overweight. Now, the health risks for obesity are many. I would start off with heart disease. So once you are overweight or obese, your risk of these dangerous conditions and chronic diseases increases. You can get in trouble with heart disease, high blood pressure or hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, different forms of cancers like breast cancer and colon cancer, stroke, and sleep apnea. Healthy weight is not just about diet. It's basically a lifestyle change. I'm going to talk a little bit now about how you could protect yourself from getting overweight or hitting obesity. Now, if you are on a healthy diet, that's going to improve your energy and feelings of well-being while reducing your risk of multiple diseases as we talked about. Adding regular physical activity and exercise will make any healthy eating plan work even more better. How can we lose weight? This is a big question. Everybody keeps on asking this. Just to let you know, there is no secret in losing weight. If you lose the calories and if you consume less calories and burn more calories, everybody will eventually lose weight. As I said, it's all about calories. 1 pound equals about 3,500 calories. So eating about 1,000 to 1,200 calories every day, women will tend to lose their weight. To lose 1 pound every week, if we can decrease about 500 calories per day or burn 500 more calories each day, we will start losing weight. However, the weight loss does depend on your age, gender, height, a lot of other factors. Just to talk a little bit about your diet, everybody should eat 5 to 6 small meals versus 3 large meals. Eat every 3 to 4 hours to maintain a metabolic balance. Balance of different types of foods is always encouraged. Increase the consumptions of fruits and vegetables. Have a fruit in between the meals as a mid-morning and mid-afternoon snack. Everybody should drink plenty of fluids. As a rule of the thumb, 5 to 7 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables are required every day. How do we select the right portion sizes? And this is a big problem. Now, controlling portion size and the amount of food we consume is the most difficult challenge faced by anybody who's trying to learn to eat better. Relating portion sizes to your everyday items is a very easy way to visualize what a true portion size should look like. And this is a good example. A golf ball or a large egg means 1/4 cup of dried fruits and nuts. So when we say 5 to 7 servings, that means this is the size of your serving. Most important thing for us to understand, we should drink water. When we say plenty of fluids, we are talking about water, not any sweetened or calorie-rich drinks, not even diet drinks. Water is really your best fluid. And the benefits of exercise are really many. It causes weight loss, it prevents weight gain, it improves your cardiovascular or aerobic fitness, and it improves your muscular strength. It helps you prevent falls, especially important in older people. It does decrease your depression. So, 3 rules are exercise, exercise, and exercise. We all encourage you to design a program that best fits your needs. You should have a particular time for exercise, and exercise has to be regular and on a daily basis. Consider your own personal goals. 1 to 2 pounds per week is a healthy weight loss program. Nobody should aim at losing too much weight. Wake up about 30 minutes early or exercise during your lunchtime. 2 to 3 hours of vigorous aerobic exercise per week is all you want. And mix it up. That means try different types of exercise. You can do lunges, you can do some cardiovascular workout, you can do some swimming, and you can even do dancing. Allow some time for recovery. Put it down on a paper what you're doing so that you are more motivated to continue on the schedule. You can do a lot of things at home if you don't have access to a gym. Involve your whole family. Bike regularly or swim together. Find a friend to exercise with. This is going to also protect you against boredom. Take stairs whenever possible. Park your car far from the store so that you can get some walking. Make chores count. Watch TV on a stationary bike. Lift weights during your shows. So all these are the different ideas. You can, of course, have your own workout routine or regimen, but these are different types of exercises so that you continue doing these and do not get bored. Now, this is calorie counting web phone and applications. There are a lot of things that you can now find on the web, and you can personalize these programs so that you know how many calories you're doing and how you can actually count your calories. Now, this is another great website from United States Department of Agriculture, and please go on choosemyplate.gov. This actually tells you in different colors how your plate should look like, how many vegetable portion, fruits, and grains should be on your plate. if you can go on this website, you can actually get your personalized nutrition and physical activity plan. And this is very, very easy. And if you can do that, you are on the right track and you will definitely lose weight. This also motivates you so that you know that you're doing something right. How often should you weigh yourself? Very, very important for you to understand that you should not weigh yourself multiple times a day. Our weight does change different times of the day depending on consumption of our fluids, so please do not do this. Water weight is up and down and it can cause some confusion among people, so aim for a slow and steady weight loss, no more than 1 to 2 pounds a week. I think this is about the end of my presentation and I am happy to take any questions.
So you can take as many as you want.
I'm already getting some great questions. The first question I'm going to read for everybody: can being overweight lead to type 2 diabetes? Well, obesity is linked to type 2 diabetes for sure. Now, whether or not this is a direct link, like everybody who's obese will not get diabetes, type 2 diabetes, but being overweight does cause a lot of increased risk for diabetes. Another great question is, when desiring to lose weight, which weight loss exercise works best? Well, the good answer to this would be I would recommend a mix of different weight loss exercises. See, when you're trying to lose weight, you also want to make sure that you improve your cardiovascular endurance, your muscular strength. So doing aerobic exercises, anaerobic exercises, a mix is always good. So there's no one exercise which would lead to more weight loss than the others. We want always a mix of different exercises. However, for everybody, the goals are different. So not everybody has to lose a certain amount of weight. Please talk to your doctor if you're severely obese, so that before you start on a strict weight loss program, you should have certain parameters checked. Then another good question is, what's the difference between being overweight and obese? As I already said, overweight and obese are the terms used by medical doctors based on your BMI, which is your body mass index. If your body mass index is over 25 but less than 30, you are considered overweight. If your body mass index is anywhere over 30, you are considered obese. Anytime BMI hits more than 40, you are considered morbidly obese. That almost becomes a disease. The other good questions are, what is the best means to stop myself from eating when I am not hungry? To this one, I would just say that, you know what, you have to tell yourself that I would eat on a certain time. When you're not hungry, if you are munching on bad stuff, that is actually adding to some calories. What I would do is I would have set times when I would have my breakfast, then a mid-morning snack, then lunch, then mid-afternoon snack, and then dinner. What happens is, if you're skipping your breakfast, you are trying to gain a lot of weight, because what happens is when it's lunchtime, you will be very hungry, so you will not think about what's best for you or what you're going to eat. So you'll crave for certain things and you'll start eating that, and you'll end up eating bigger portions. So that is not the right way of eating. The right way is to do smaller portions but multiple times a day. And if you are going in for snacks, try to make sure these should usually be like dried nuts, dried fruits, or fresh fruits or veggies, instead of chips or pretzels. So another good question is, how often do you recommend we weigh ourselves? Once a week? Well, you know what, the once a week seems like a good idea, because we do not want you to lose more than 1 to 2 pounds a week anyways. And please do not weigh yourself at night. The best time to weigh yourself, I would say, is when you get up in the morning. Another good question is, do you think Weight Watchers is a good idea when trying to lose weight and be healthy? I think Weight Watchers is a very good program. I had a lot of success with this. It does go with certain points. So, you know, they tell you how much points are in a particular food. So you can actually track how much of those points you are taking every day. And it's a very good program because it does combine exercise with diet. So anybody could try that. Now, some people will be more successful than others, but it's worth trying. And I think this is probably better than most other programs. Another good program is, I would say, is DASH diet, which is dietary approaches to stop hypertension, but it could be used in anybody. You can Google it, DASH diet, and this is pretty much considered the best diet actually. This is more like Mediterranean diet, consisting more of fresh fruits and veggies and low-fat dairy. So try that also. Now, somebody is also sending me questions about counting carbohydrates. Yes, low-carb diets also work. Carbohydrates do constitute a lot of calories in our diet. Carbohydrate counting works, but only low-carb diet does not work for most people. It has to be a low-calorie diet, and calories could come from carbohydrates and fats. So try a mix of healthy low-calorie diet instead of just going on low-carb. What happens sometimes is if you're going on a very low-carb diet, you're probably consuming a lot of other foods which may have more fat and hence more calories. Somebody is also sending me questions about the best way to lose belly fat. Well, there are a lot of workouts that you could do that are more geared towards losing belly fat. You know, if somebody goes to the gym, you can ask your personal trainers. And belly fat, just to let you know, is considered one of the independent risk factors for a future risk of heart disease. So if you are, you know, having more weight around your belly compared to around your hips, you are considered more at risk. So you could do certain exercises which are more geared towards that. If you Google that, there are a lot of exercises that you can even find on the internet, and you could do those. However, if you are on the treadmill and you're doing overall aerobic workouts, that will also help you lose that kind of fat around your belly. And somebody sending me a question about, what do you feel about using all the natural diet cleansing products? My take on that is I do not recommend any of the cleansers or cleaning products. Now, just to let you know, once you start using that, you are actually getting rid of a lot of good bacteria from your colon, which is required for actually producing some vitamins and also for absorbing certain vitamins. So if people start using the cleansers, it may give you a kind of weight loss, but that is not the true weight loss because you are getting rid of a lot of good substances from the body. Same thing as if you dehydrate somebody or give them diuretics, they'll see a weight loss on the scale, but that is not a true loss of weight. That is because we are taking your water off. So please do not do cleansers. What is a good form of exercise for people with back problems? Another great question. I understand walking can be difficult with back pain. What I would suggest is water aerobics, something like swimming is good. You could try stationary bike. Yes, you cannot run on treadmill, but even people with osteoarthritis could try some water aerobics, and that usually is very gentle on the joints and on the, especially on the back joints, and that works. And then another good question is, somebody is telling me that they had a gastric band surgery and then started gaining some of the weight back. Well, for somebody who had a gastric band, remember, think about the procedure. They try to decrease the size of your esophagus or the opening going into your stomach so that you cannot eat as much. Now, this is the same principle we use with this surgery, that you have to eat less and you have to eat multiple times. And there is only so much you can eat with this. Now, if you are gaining some of the weight back after your surgery, I would highly encourage exercise, and please start counting your calories every day. Make a food diary where you write down every day how much calories you're taking, how many times you're eating, and please also pay close attention to your portion control. This is something they talk to you before these surgeries. So please look at all those things again, and you will certainly lose weight. And somebody is sending me another great question that it says that I'm overweight although I exercise regularly and have completely cut out soda. Now, being overweight, as I said, is a lot of factors involved into that. You still have to do the right thing. Now, it depends on how overweight you are. You have to cut down soda. I agree with that. You have to exercise regularly and be on a very healthy, low-calorie diet. This is very important. Now, some people are overweight because of genetic factors. Some people have this weight due to a lot of other factors. So, being overweight is not a disease, okay? It just means that you are at high risk of being obese, which really becomes a medical issue or a disease. If you're overweight, I still encourage you to do the right thing all the time so that you at least could maintain a healthy weight. Now, some people can be overweight, but everything else is good. You know, their cholesterol is beautiful. They have very low blood sugars or, blood sugars in a healthy range and never had high blood pressure. So those people are not at risk of heart disease. Their risk is about like an average healthy weight person. So do not lose heart. Try to still do the right thing. And somebody is giving another good tip. I have found TOPS to be a good support weight loss group. Yeah, well, others can try that. There are other weight loss support groups, and you could try that. You can Google those, and that really helps if you have other people who've been through the problems that you are now facing. And somebody's saying me, I have thyroid problems and I take the medication. How can I lose weight? Well, thyroid problem can tend to give you some weight gain, and that is a medical issue. So some of these medical diseases can cause the weight increase, and certain medications can. In that case, well, you have to still take the thyroid medication. Sometimes taking the medication can cause the weight loss. However, I will repeat again, you have to be on a low-calorie healthy diet and exercise. You may not become very thin, which is still considered okay, but as long as you're considered healthy, that's what I would aim for. And somebody is asking me, please repeat the website for, I think they're talking about DASH diet. Is that what you're asking? It's DASH diet, and another website what I would want you to go on is choosemyplate.gov. Another good question, what time to stop eating at night? As a rule of the thumb, the last big meal or whatever, the last supper at night should be at least 2 hours before your bedtime. However, if you have certain medical conditions like diabetes and you do get hungry, I would do a very light snack at least half an hour before the bedtime. And the light snack means maybe 2-3 crackers, maybe a piece of low-fat cheese, or a cup of skim milk or low-fat milk. You cannot eat a packet of chips at night. That's not considered snack. If you're a diabetic, is it necessary to count carbs? Should we count calories instead? Well, with diabetics, it becomes slightly different. Carb counting becomes important, especially if you are on insulin, because based on how many carbs you're taking, your insulin intake is changes actually. So, although you should be on a low-calorie diet, for diabetics especially, yes, carb counting becomes very important. And please look into your exchange diet programs, because there are so many things that you can swap this thing for that thing, and it's considered okay if you're a diabetic. And I think if you're a diabetic, you should always talk to a dietitian or a diabetes educator. She can always give you a lot of information about these things. Should you stay away from over-the-counter fat-burning products? Yes, I would highly recommend do not do over-the-counter fat-burning or weight loss products. The reason being, half of times we don't know what is in that product. In the past few years, I've seen FDA has come down harsh on some of these products, and some of these products actually contain Viagra-like medications, which, as you know, is used for male impotency. So these are some of the very dangerous medications, can have a lot of cardiovascular side effects. And these things are not actually the things that have been approved by FDA. And even though these things may say these are natural, please do not do these things, because nobody knows what is actually the content of that particular product, and these things are not studied well, so do not do any of these things. And somebody is asking me if I could say about using colon cleansers. I think cleansers, please do not use cleansers. These are not considered good for health and would never recommend these to lose weight. Please do not do these. Another good question, does a thyroid problem contribute to weight gain or retention? Yes, people with thyroid problems can have weight gain. Sometimes when you start having a very rapid weight gain and you've never been checked for thyroid, I would highly urge you to see your doctors and get your thyroid checked, because it could be an underlying problem causing you to gain all this weight. And then another good question is energy drinks and protein bars good after the workouts? Well, you know what, I have mixed feeling about these things. A lot of these so-called protein bars and energy drinks are very high sources of calories. I am not a big fan of these. I think if you could drink milk or skim milk or drink water or something like Gatorade, that is good enough. We really, you know, if you are doing a high calorie protein bar immediately after a workout, I mean, what's the point in losing all those calories? You're trying to gain them back. So do not do that. I'd probably have a fruit after the workout and drink water, and I think that should be good enough. Another good question, do any of the advertised diet pills work, especially the belly fat pills? You know, depending on what kind of diet pills we are talking about, if you're talking about something that you buy on the counter or over the internet, please do not do these diet pills. Yes, there are certain diet pills that have been FDA approved for weight loss, and these have to be monitored closely for the side effects. So you can get some of the prescription diet pills from your physicians. See your physician. Not everybody is a candidate for these kind of treatments. Medical weight loss treatments should always be under the supervision of a physician. So please see your doctors about that. And somebody is asking me, how can I get information on today's webinar? I think I'll ask our marketing people to let you know how could we do that. And somebody is asking me if juicing okay for dieting. I think all that means is if you could drink juice for dieting. Well, if you are trying to do juices, you know, I would go with fresh fruit juice. You know, what I would recommend is you can get some fresh fruits and you can make your own juice, so that you know that you're not putting any sugar in there. Anything which is sold in these you know, supermarkets is actually, all these juices have a lot of sugar and eventually a lot of calories, and then there are other stuff in there. So you can make your own smoothies with low-fat yogurt, some fruits like banana and strawberry. Just, you know, mix it up in a blender, and that's your good smoothie. You can even make your own juices with a juicer at home, and those are actually much better than buying anything over the counter. And somebody is asking me another good question, does it matter the order in which you eat fruits, veggies, and meats? I don't think I quite get the question. I mean, I think she's probably trying to say how much fruits and veggies or meats should you eat, I guess. Answer to this is yes, you should look at choosemyplate.org website, and it tells you what your one plate should look like. Now, as a rule of the thumb, 5 to 7 servings of fresh fruits and veggies every day. And you can do meats. I would go with less red meat and more white meat. That means less of pork and beef and more of fish and chicken. Also, how you do your meats is very important. Whether you are deep frying your meats or whether you are having baked or grilled meats, that's also important. So grilled fish and grilled chicken is way better than meats that have been fried, like some of the burgers. So just be careful about these, and also what goes inside that particular meat is also important, like how much grease you're using when you're cooking your food. And somebody is asking me a question about ALI, which is an over-the-counter weight loss pill. Well, it did come under some fire recently. We used to have a high-dose ALI, which was a prescription medication, but again, these have side effects, and ALI over the counter, I don't think it's going to give you more weight loss than if you were to do just a healthy diet and regular exercise. Because see, as I said, the goal is not weight loss or rapid weight loss. The goal is the weight loss slowly so that you can sustain this weight loss. Anybody who's trying to lose 20, 30 pounds in a month is not good, and that is even not realistic sometimes. So you should not lose more than 4 to 6 pounds in a month, because we want this slow, gradual weight loss so that you can sustain this weight loss. That is one reason most of the weight loss programs do not work, because, you know, if you go to these clinics, which are rapid weight loss clinics, they'll give you a lot of bunch of stuff and then you lose this weight. But once you stop this program, you gain all this weight back and plus some extra pounds. The reason being, most of these weight loss programs give you very, very restrictive diets, which are really not practical. Also, I would never recommend a very low calorie or very, very restrictive diet like some of the 500 calorie diets, because you will lose out on a lot of nutrients. The goal is healthy weight loss, gradual weight loss, and not rapid weight loss. What short-term goals should a morbidly obese person set for themselves? A very good question. Well, now a morbidly obese person means a BMI of over 40. Now this person is probably going to talk to the doctor before they can start on a healthy low-fat diet and exercise, a serious exercise program. Depends on, this is really a question that is different for different individuals. So not everybody is going to have a same goal weight loss. So please talk to your doctors and set a realistic goal. Not everybody can be in a BMI of 20 or 22, and everybody is different. We were all designed different. So please talk to your doctors and set up a realistic goal so that you can lose that weight slowly. And it may take you months or years, but that's okay. That's the way we want it to be done. So I think we are at the end of our allotted time, so I'll probably take one more question. Somebody is saying, I've heard that if you eat a piece of fruit, you should eat a protein with it. Is this correct? Well, I don't know much about this. I think you could just take fruits without protein. I mean, you should have protein in your diet every day, and fruits and vegetables, but I mean, I can't tell you much about eating fruit with protein, whether this helps or not. Yes, you know, we talk about eating bananas with peanut butter and apples with peanut butter. So that, to me, it means that you are having intake of both things, not just one type of, you know, food group. And this is probably my last question I can take. Anything over the counter helps curb appetite. You know what, as I have said many times in this talk, I would never tell you to do anything like an appetite suppressant over the counter just because you don't know what's in those things. Even though they say natural, they are not natural. There are a lot of medicines in them, and I would never go near them. They are scary. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I really got some of the great questions. And I think now Valerie is going to probably talk to you whether you can get the hold of this presentation. You can always email me your questions, and I'll try my best to answer some of those for you. But remember, the weight loss has to be slow, gradual, and we need to sustain this weight loss. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your lunch time with me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone. I know there were some questions about getting the presentation after the webinar, and we do actually save all of our webinars on Kelsey-Seybold.com/webinars. If you go and look in the archive area, you'll see that up there. I'm going to try and get it posted by the end of the day. It will be the live recording of what you heard today, and if you have any more questions, feel free to shoot them to me at valerie.clifton@Kelsey-Seybold.com, and I'll make sure that Dr. Seybold gets all your questions. Also, please make sure to join us next month. Dr. Angela Ferguson, our new interventional cardiologist at the Woodlands Clinic, is going to be presenting Protect Your Ticker with Good Heart Health, and February is Heart Health Awareness Month. So please feel free to join us, and the registration link's at the end of the page. Thank you very much.